Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order our March 19, 2026 meeting of the Ascension Parish Council. Mr. Joseph, will you please lead us in an invocation and pledge of allegiance?
Bow our head. Dear Lord, bless this great nation, bless this great state, bless this great parish. Bless all the councils that serve on this board today to make the right decision for the citizens of Ascension Parish. And dear Lord, bless our armed forces service that is serving this country today. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Ms. Secretary, we are missing Mr. Arsenault. All other members are present. And we will move to agenda item number 3, presentations, 3A. We have Mr. David Crescent here from the LCA who would like to give us a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, council members. It's a pleasure to be here. Honored to say a few words to you, and I see that my presentation is pulled up on the screen. So I will be brief. I know you have a very extensive agenda this afternoon, but I did want to make you aware, if you weren't already, about this a website that we at the Louisiana Chemistry Association have recently released, and I wanted to make sure that you were aware of it and had access to it. And I'm not sure if there's screens in front of me, but if you can see the screens to my left and right. First of all, you may notice that I said Louisiana Chemistry Association, just to be 100% clear. We have been the Louisiana Chemical Association for 65 years, and as of last night, we unveiled a new branding and a new logo, the Louisiana Chemistry Association, because we feel like the word chemistry is more representative of what we do at these facilities. We have about 70 facilities around the state of Louisiana. I think about 40 of those are right here in Ascension Parish, and what they do in these facilities is chemistry. And so we have changed our name to the Louisiana Chemistry Association. And if I stumble over that 5 or 10 times during this speech and say chemical anyway, then you'll forgive me for tonight. But we've also changed the logo to represent some of our core values, and you'll be seeing more of that as we go forward. So before I get to the website itself, I want to just point out a handful of things, and again, I know you all know most of this, and I know some of you have heard me give this speech at least once or twice in the parish here before, but if we could move on to the next slide. Oh, it looks like I have the clicker right here, so there we go. This is a map of our LCA members across the state. You can see there's there's a bunch of them right here in Ascension Parish and in the parishes along the river. We also have quite a few LCA members that are in the southwest part of the state in Calcasieu Parish, and then a handful up in the northwest part of the state around Shreveport and Bossier, with some others sort of sprinkled in around the state. But as you see, of our 115 or so sites around the state, about 80% of them fall along the river region right here, and of course making up something like 34 or 35,000 jobs. I know the chart up there says 65 member facilities. We've actually added a few since this was made. I think the number is 68 or 69 now, and we hope to keep that growing. But this map, by the way, is available to any LCA or LCIA member. If you or any of your companies might be members, you can go to our website and get this map. And if you go to the site and get it, it's an interactive map to where you can go to the members on the bottom of the page, click on each member individually, and get some more detailed information about those different sites, like how many people work there, what they make, some of the key leaders in those sites, et cetera. And so this map is available to any of our members at the LCA website. Continuing on. Of course, I think you all know these things, but I'm just going to run through them real quick. You know that Our sector is the #1 direct manufacturing employer in the state of Louisiana. Something like 35,000 jobs that are provided by our companies around the state. That's not counting another 250,000 contractor and vendor jobs. Our contractor and vendors are represented through our LCIA program, which is the Industrial Alliance. Many of those companies are right here in Ascension Parish, but another 250,000 jobs. So you add all that up, you're approaching 300,000 jobs around the state of Louisiana that are dependent on industry. And that, of course, that does not count sort of the jobs that aren't in the facilities themselves, the restaurants, the lodging, the schools, et cetera, that all depend on industry for those jobs. Moving on. Industry in Louisiana makes up 20% of our wages. One out of every $5 in the state comes from industry, and we're very proud of that. And we do about $80 billion in sales in the state. A large portion of that comes from right here in Ascension Parish, as you know, but $80 billion is not a small number by any measure, and that's what our numbers have been in recent years, and we only expect to see that grow. Moving on, 20% of state and local taxes. Now, that's a statewide average. As you know, here in Ascension, I think that number is more like 50. And if you go up and down the river parishes here, you'll find that in St. Charles Parish, that number is more like 90. In St. John, it's something like 85 or 90. In St. James, it's close to 90. In Iberville, I think it's close to 90. Of course, there's a lot of residents here in Ascension, so it doesn't quite get that high here, but it's still 50% of your property taxes are paid by industry here in Ascension Parish. And across the state, about 25% of the GDP comes from our companies. And so obviously we're very proud of those numbers. Something like 70,000 products. I lost track of count at that point, but that's where I stopped counting. But it's a tremendous amount of products. You literally can't reach anything in front of you right now without touching something that our companies have been responsible for producing the components of, and obviously we're proud of that as well. And all that said, and we're also cleaner and safer than we've ever been. You've all heard the statistic that you're safer in one of our facilities than you are in your local grocery store or even in your home. Our facilities are extremely safe. They take that very seriously, and we're very proud of the records that they all manage in those cases. And of course, here in Ascension and across the state, wherever there are industries like the ones that make up our membership, they are always the leaders in those local communities as far as donations to charitable organizations, volunteer hours, and involvement in those communities. And obviously, they're all very proud of that, and we try to tell that story as much as we can. But still, even with that being said, we still deal with things like this, and I know this slide might be a little difficult for you to see. I hope, maybe you all have a screen in front of you, and if you can, these are the kinds of posts that persist around the internet and on social media. And if you can't read that, it says, "How many more funerals will it take?" And if you look really close at that post, you'll see that it's put up by a group called Beyond Petrochemicals. If any of you are familiar with the Bloomberg Group out of New York City, they send, I think the number I saw the other day was something like $115 million down to Louisiana to produce nonsense like this, and degrade the very industry that's made Louisiana what it is today. And so we take issue with these kinds of things, and it's time for us to kind of fight back. And so we are doing that. And in doing so, our board, and Mr. Doug Genetic is a member of our board. You know him in the back of the room. Our board asked us to go find the real data on the health outcomes along the river parishes and what's called, or what some might call, cancer alleys. So we did. We didn't go do a study. We went to the real sites and found the data and compiled it all. And we came up with this website, and I'd ask you to take a look at it if you might. You can scan that little code on the bottom left of your screen and pull it up on your phone if you'd like to while I'm talking about this. But I'll run through some of the highlights of it real quick. First of all, You all know what Cancer Alley is. It's a lie, first of all, but it refers to the parishes from Plaquemines Parish all the way up to East and West Baton Rouge along the river that make up our industrial corridor, including places like Ascension and St. John and St. Charles and Iberville and so on. We all know that it's been debunked many times. For the sake of this discussion today, we have included, and for our purposes at LCA, we've included Calcasieu Parish because we have so many members there. The numbers in Calcasieu do not skew these numbers whatsoever. They kind of fall right in the middle, so Calcasieu doesn't impact these numbers either way. But we've got the data, by the way, from these sites, from these resources. We didn't make these numbers up. We didn't go do our own study. We didn't pay to have it look a certain way. We just went and got the numbers and put it in one place to where we could make a real analysis of what the numbers say. And you can see this is the tumor registry, it's the county health rankings, it's the U.S. Census, it's the National Cancer Institute, and the CDC. These are obviously very reputable resources and have no reason to make up any numbers. And so what they say is, actually, that Louisiana's industrial corridor has some of the best health outcomes compared to the rest of the state. And of course, that's in direct opposition to what you might hear on the internet or in posts like the one I showed you earlier. Just to go in a little deeper on that, let's take a look at cancer numbers, for instance. What our site says and what we have found through our analysis is that in the industrial corridor, those parishes I just mentioned, cancer is actually lower than the parishes outside the corridor. So we're 5.5% lower in the industrial parishes in the state of Louisiana than we are outside that corridor. Moving forward, cancer, this is lung cancer. Lung cancer is actually 20% lower in the industrial corridor than it is outside the corridor. And I should say, you know, we don't take cancer lightly. Cancer touches everyone. Overall, Louisiana's numbers are not great when it comes to, cancer statistics, but you can't look at these numbers and point to any one factor like proximity to industry and blame that on cancer. So 20% lower here in the corridor as far as lung cancer. When it comes to cancer mortality, 7.3% lower in the corridor than outside the corridor. And then life expectancy is actually higher in our corridor than it is outside the corridor. Of course, you all know there's 13 parishes we're talking about being industrial parishes. There's 51 that we're not talking about here, and those 51 have a lower life expectancy than the rest of the industrial parishes. Now, what are the reasons for that? Could be lots of things. Obviously, people in these industrial parishes have jobs. They get paid good money. They have access to health care and insurance and have some advantages that folks outside the corridor may not. But it does not take away from the fact that the health outcomes are better in that corridor than they are outside that corridor. In fact, if you look at the top 5 healthiest parishes in the state, you can see, and I'm sure this will make some of you all pleased, that Ascension, and this was 24, and the president might be able to tell me, I think in 25, Ascension took the #1 spot, isn't that right? So Ascension is now the healthiest parish in the state of Louisiana, and it's surrounded by groups like Cameron and St. Tammany and Lake Lafayette, and of course St. Charles, which is also a very industrial parish. And in fact, as of 24, there wasn't a single industrial parish, and that's including some fairly poorer parishes that fall in that bottom third. And so the point is that our health outcomes in these parishes, the facts just do not line up with the notions that are out there in the posts like I put up there earlier. And what I'm asking of you is, if you would, when you hear false information like that, push back on it a little bit. Use our website. Go check it out. You can actually go to the website and find Ascension's numbers individually when it comes to a bunch of different health outcomes, whether it be cancer, diabetes, obesity, smoking, things of that nature. You can find that individually by parish when it comes to Ascension. I'm sure it's no surprise to you that you'll find that Ascension is at the top of most of those statistics. And so, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. I told you I'd be brief. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Are there any questions for Mr. David? No? Yeah, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So I was at Seniors SALT, a program for the Sheriff's Department, and we were discussing how Ascension was the healthiest parish. And one of the parishes had the largest number of industrial sites here. And there has been an ongoing trend of industry getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and making a conscious effort to do that, and we're seeing that in the numbers. But the statistics don't lie, and I'm going to tell you, it's something we can be proud of in the River region. We can be proud of holding that title, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I have to combat it, just like LCA and several of y'all do work in industry. You know the rumors and the labels that come from not only out of our parish, but out of the state. And many of these organizations are funded from money out of the state, comes a lot from DC. And so there's a lot of rumors, and it's all over the spectrum, not only with industry, but with CCS. And so we have to focus on the facts and the true data, and that's critical. So anytime we're talking about any particular topic with industry, it's important that we ask, and when rumors get brought up, well, somebody told me. Well, I need to see where that information comes from. I need to see where it's documented. I need to see the actual data when you make comments that we don't believe is true, because as you can tell, it matters within our river region, and we are becoming the economic hub of the state, and that's that whole river, and that whole river region is the healthiest with the data in the state, and so those two are joined at the hip. And we're excited about those titles and about this data, and I hope everybody takes an opportunity to spread that, and let's look at the data moving forward. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, I'll just add, thank you, Mr. President. You know, there's a story last week that ran, I forget whether it was in the Advocate or not, but they threw the Cancer Alley title right up there, like, you know, just throw it around willy-nilly like it's no big deal. But it does this parish a disservice. It does the rest of the industrial parishes in the state a disservice, does everybody does business here a disservice. It also does people who have cancer a disservice, because it takes the focus away from the real risk factors, and that's a shame. I would also ask you, if you would, if you have some time to go check it out, the Pelican Institute, who's a partner organization of ours, did a really great report over the last couple of days. It came out about the dark money coming in from around the country, from places like DC and California and New York, who frankly don't care at all about Louisiana. They just want to put industry out of business. So go check out that Pelican Institute report on that dark money, and I think it'll open some eyes. So again, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for having me, and it's been an honor to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. David. And I do believe Ms. Phillips wants to get a picture.
Oh, great.
Group picture. Let's see. All right, thank you, Mr. David. We'll now move on. We have two more presentations, both by Parish President. 3B is a proclamation to proclaim April 2026 Fair Housing Month in Ascension Parish. Mr. Quintmore.
Thank you, Chair. The 58th anniversary of the National Fair Housing Law of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 is on occasion for all Americans to rededicate themselves to freedom from housing discrimination. The National Fair Housing Law guarantees all citizens the right to freely choose a home and prohibits discrimination in the sale, rental, and financing of homes. The state of Louisiana has passed fair housing law that requires positive commitment, involvement, and support of each of our citizens. Therefore, it is resolved that the Parish of Ascension proclaims April 2026 as Fair Housing Month.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. And so we're going to read the second one, and we'll do two pictures back to back.
There we go.
Thank you. Okay. 3C is a proclamation to proclaim April 6th through 10th Community Development Week in Ascension Parish. Mr. Quinmall.
Ascension Parish participates in the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG program, which funds the community's public infrastructure, economic development, and housing programs. CDBG has helped Ascension Parish develop strong relationships with its residents, principally those of low to moderate incomes. Ascension Parish especially thanks and recognizes these participants whose hard work and devotion to help ensure the quality of CDBG program. Therefore, it is resolved that the Parish of Ascension proclaims April 6th through the 10th, 2026 as Community Development Week. All right.
All right, thank you. And I believe, Ms. Hermina, you're going to come take some pictures with us? Let's see. All right, moving along. Agenda item number 4, Chair's Edition. The Chair has no additions tonight. Agenda item number 5, the public comment sign-in period. If anyone would like to speak on any of our agenda items, please come see Ms. McKee over here. Get a green or red card. When we get to that agenda item, you will have 3 minutes to speak on that agenda item only. And number 6, right back to you, Mr. Quinmall, for Parish President's Report.
Thank you, Chairman Malonzo. Good evening, Council. We had a successful police jury conference a couple weeks ago. I was happy to see many of our council individuals there. It was a good week. Got to talk about a lot of things going on around the state and things that particularly pertain to Ascension Parish. So it was a really good conference, and I always enjoyed going to Lake Charles. It was a good trip. We have our annual Easter event at Duplessis Park this Saturday, March 21st, from 10 to 4 p.m. Pictures with the Easter Bunny and Easter egg hunting, and much more. Check our socials for more information. Please note that our trash bash is scheduled for Saturday, April 18th from 8 to 12 p.m. Check our socials for more information on how to sign up. This is an early invitation to join us at Ascension Parish Day at the Capitol on Wednesday, April 22nd at the Capitol Park Museum at 4:30 p.m. This is a great event that showcases everything Ascension Parish has to offer to our legislators and to our parish and to the state. And this concludes my report, Chair. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Agenda item number 7, the consent agenda. At this time, would anyone like to remove any item from the consent agenda for further discussion? Okay. We have a motion to move the consent agenda as is by Mr. Vornado, a second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Any objection? Any questions? Hearing none, so moved. Number 8, our personnel recommendations. I'm going to turn over to our personnel chairman, Mr. Dennis Cullen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a Personnel Committee meeting on February the 24th, and the following recommendations were made. For the Animal Service Board, we have Ms. Jody Smith. That's a new appointment for a 4-year term.
Have a motion by Mr. Vornado, second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved.
Next, we have Ms. Catherine Chafisi. That's a new appointment also for a 2-year term.
Motion by Mr. Hillensbeck, a second by Ms. P.T. Any objections? Hearing none, so moved.
Next, we have the Planning and Zoning Commission. These were the top 5. We have Mr. Nicholas Miller for a 2-year term.
Motion by Mr. Hillensbeck, a second by Mr. Vornado. Are there any objection? Hearing none, so move.
We have Mr. Jeffrey Nolan. He will replace Mr. Randy Kluwat.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, a second by Mr. Francis. Any objection? Hearing none,
Next, we have Mr. Mark Vila for a 2-year term.
motion by Mr. Vornado, a second by Mr. Robert. Any objection? Hearing none, so move.
Next, we have Miss Michelle Unitas for a 2-year term.
Second.
Motion by Mr. PT, a second by Mr. Francis. Any objection? Hearing none, so move.
Next, we have Mr. Wade Shakesnyder for a 2-year term.
Motion by Mr. Joseph, a second by Mr. Francis. Any objection? Hearing none, so move.
Next, we have Fire Protection District Number 3. Mr. Cody Melanson is a reappointment for a 2-year term.
Motion by Mr. Vornado, a second by Mr. PT. Any objection? Hearing none, so move.
Next, we have Mr. Gary Newman as a reappointment for a 2-year term.
Motion by Mr. Vornado,
Second.
second by Ms. Alonso. Any objection? Hearing none, so move.
And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cullen. And yeah, I'm not sure how many of our new appointees are here, but as always, these are volunteer, unpaid committees that, residents volunteer and interview to sit on. So we're always very appreciative. Congratulations and thank you very much. All right, general business 9A, and we have a resolution. I'm gonna call Mr. Malcolm, if you'd please come up and read the resolution for us.
So it's my duty to read you the resolution regarding tax renewal on road lighting District Number 7. A resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in road lighting District Number 7 of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, the district, on Saturday, June 27, 2026, for the purpose of authorizing and renewal of the 5 mil tax on assessed valuation of all properties subject to taxation in the district for a period of 10 years for the purpose of providing funds to acquire, improve, and equip the system of road lighting on the streets, roads, highways, alleys, and public places of the district, and to provide funds to pay the operation and maintenance costs and expenses in connection therewith, and further making application to the State Bond Commission for consent and authorization to hold the aforesaid election, and further providing for other matters in connection therewith. We ask for a vote on this resolution.
I have a motion by Mr. Vornado to approve the resolution. Do we need a second, Ms. McKee? Okay. I got a second from Mr. Joseph. Any objection? Hearing none? So moved. Thank you, Mr. Malcolm.
Thank you,
Good seeing you
members
as
of council.
always.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Next up, 9B, resolution for the Board of Commerce and Industry regarding the council's recommendation concerning BSF non-compliance in the Industrial Tax Exemption Program, contracts 2017-0548-ITE, 2017-0550 ITE, 201-90056-ITE, and 202-102215 ITE for project year 2023. I do have a motion from Ms. Alonso and a second from Mr. Hillensbeck. Would anyone like, any questions for Ms. McKee or?
I've got one.
Okay, yeah, Mr. PT?
This is only a deadline-related non-compliance, right? I mean, they overshot the required rolls and payroll salary by tenfold, right? I mean,
Yes, the
it was-
jobs and the payroll. So it's just a missed deadline
That was
when
it.
the,
Okay, yeah, that's,
paper went in.
yeah, no, I mean, they overshot everything. Yeah,
Correct.
absolutely. So, thank
Okay.
you. That was it.
All right. Are there any objection? Hearing none? So moved. All right, 10, introduction of ordinances. Just a reminder, we only need a motion, no second. 10A, introduction of an ordinance to amend Ascension Parish zoning map from rural to medium intensity residential zoning review ID PZ-3822.25 Lot 4B for Mickey Robertson, located on the north side of LA Highway 621, approximately 3,350 feet west of LA Highway 44.
Motion.
Have a motion by Mr. Francis. 10B, introduction of ordinance to amend Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, Article 3, Section 18-30, East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District Number 1, to update wording from police juror to council members and to designate the parish president as administrator of all services and work by the district.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. PT. 10C, introduction of ordinance to amend Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, Political Subdivisions, Autonomous Boards, Commissions, and Authorities, Article 3, Drainage Districts, Section 18-31, West Ascension Drainage District Number 1, to upgrade wording from police juror to council members, to outline the board makeup, and to designate the parish president as administrator of all services and work by the district.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Cullen. 10D, introduction of ordinance to amend Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, Political Subdivisions, Autonomous Boards, Commissions, and Authorities, Article 1 in general, to remove Section 18-2 Louisiana Square Park Joint Service Agreement. Motion by Mr. Joseph. 10E, introduction of ordinance to amend Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 15, Article 2, Division 2, Section 15-31, Guidelines for Use Regarding Louisiana Square Park. Motion by Ms. Alonzo. 10F, introduction of an ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, specifically subdivision 2 general provision, section 18-116, in stormwater management account. All funds collected will be deposited into the parish general fund. Motion introduced by Mr. Vornado. 10G, introduction of ordinance to declare surplus and authorization for the sale and/or transfer of miscellaneous movable equipment. Motion by Ms. PT. 10H, introduction of ordinance to provide for the temporary assignment of staggered terms for members of the Ascension Parish Zoning Board of Adjustments and otherwise providing their respect thereto. Motion by Mr. Hillensbeck. 10I, introduction of ordinance to acquire 2 drainage servitudes for Phase 4, Fotno Road Ditch Dredging Project, Ascension Parish Project 225-03635, consisting of parcel 4-3 for the price of $10,948, and parcel 4-4 for $36,366 for drainage improvement throughout the parish. Motion by Ms. Alonzo. And moving on, 11A, executive session. Final approval of settlement agreement between Demco versus Ascension Parish, 23rd JDC, Parish of Ascension, suit number 134841, Division D. I do have a motion by Mr. Hillensbeck, a second by Mr. Vornado. If everyone would please vote yea or nay to enter executive session. All right. No. All right, I have a motion to reconvene by Mr. Hillensbeck, a second by Mr. Vornado. We are reconvened, and Chair will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion for a final approval of settlement agreement for Demco versus Ascension Parish as discussed in executive session.
All right, Ms. Alonso has a motion to approve the settlement.
Second.
And a second by Mr. PT. Are there any objections? Hearing none, so moved, and Chair will need a motion from Mr. Vornado and a second by Mr. Hillensbeck to go into 11B, executive session approval for claim of LCA 0035708. At this time, if everyone would please vote yea or nay to enter executive session. All right.
Motion to reconvene.
I have a motion to reconvene by Mr. Vornado, second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the claim as discussed in executive session for Lawana Brown.
All right. Motion by Ms. Alonso, a second by Mr. Vornado. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned by DC and a second by Mr. Vornado. We are adjourned. Thank you.
DC, that